So this lectern is sitting out in the open. It's not in someone's office. I didn't kick down a door. I didn't burn the building to the ground.
Just sitting there, chilling.
Just sitting out in the open. And we live in a social media world. And I thought to myself, that is a fantastic photo prop. And I nailed it. I did call it. So picked it up, walked it about 20 feet to the center of the rotunda, saw some photographers, smiled, waved. That's the photo.
Yeah.
Sat it down, gave a short speech, left it there. They ended up charging me on Friday with 3 different counts. It was felony theft for moving the piece of furniture.
How dare you.
Exactly. Well, I embarrassed them.
Yeah.
It was violent entry, which again, there's a video of me walking through open doors, and it was entering and remaining in a restricted building. So $100,000 in attorney fees out of our pocket later.
No.
We got the felony dropped and the violent entry charge dropped, and got the trespassing charge. They stuck that one on me.
And did you have any jail time?
71 days in federal prison, 18 of those in solitary confinement.
What is the next case for justice for people like you persecuted by the government? What's the next step? What needs to happen?
There is a lot of talk about retribution right now. That is kind of the mantra of MAGA administration, and I think we're missing reformation and restoration on top of that. It's good to go after people who did these things. That's fantastic. It does not give back. It does not restore people to what they've lost through this. People have lost their homes, their wives, their freedom. I hadn't seen my kids for like 3 months, and there are people in prison who haven't seen their kids for years. How do you make them whole? How do you give that back to them? And I think it's a conversation we haven't even begun to have yet. So if you're asking me how to make it right, I think we got to start talking about that. How do we make these people whole?
Dude, it's actually a pleasure meeting you. I know we've been going back and forth on Twitter and trying to make it happen, but thanks for just popping on for a couple minutes if possible.
Absolutely, man.
So I guess I'll let you tell your story in a couple minutes, but I just had John Strand. You know
Yes,
John?
I do know John.
Obviously, I've been hanging out with Siaka the whole week, and you have an insane story about just everything. So if you wouldn't give us give us the abridged 5-minute, 3-minute version.
Okay.
I knew you're writing a book. You're doing a bunch of things right now.
There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, so I'll let you take it over wherever you want to start in your story.
All right, so my name is Adam Johnson. I guess I'll start there. You know me as Via Getty, or the Lectern Guy, or the Podium Guy, or Lectern Leader on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
And there's a famous image or infamous image, depending on what side of the fence you stand on, that has me holding Nancy Pelosi's lectern. So my story kind of started with that picture and the lie that kind of surrounded it.
Yeah.
I didn't steal anything, but if you ask anyone on the news that day, I took it home, I took it on a flight, I carried it out of the building, and I hear these things from people, and I say to myself, how? Did you see how many people were there? Are there any other pictures of me carrying it down these streets of D.C., the most surveilled place in the world? No. Why not? Well, because it didn't happen. But people have a very difficult time hearing something from the news and then distilling the information down to common sense.
So the whole Jan 6 thing, when did you, obviously during the day, kind of crazy, whatever, when did you realize, oh crap, this is going to be a problem?
It was when I left the building. So my phone had died inside, and I had some battery packs in my backpack, so plugged it in, started walking down the street, turned it on, could not use my phone because there were so many messages and phone calls coming in, voicemails. I couldn't even use it. It was just vibrating, just on a constant cycle. So I had to put in airplane mode, download a few messages, and that's when it kind of hit, because it was one of two messages, either holy bro, you're famous, that was awesome, or you're a loser, you're a piece of trash, I'm going to murder your family.
Wow, that's a very big spread.
It's a big divide. Yeah, very flat bell curve.
Yes. Yeah, that's lovely. So a lot of people that have watched the news, they're like, there's this massive battle that happened on the grounds and inside. So when I was talking to John, he was like, hey, I was actually scheduled to speak at Capitol Hill. And then we got there and there was no stage, there was no things. Yep. And then we walked inside through ropes and it was nicely guided tour. What was your experience inside the Capitol building? Was it mayhem and crazy, or walk me through how did you get into the building and what was it like when you got in there?
Outside the building was a lot different than inside the building. And we know this because it's the only video they were releasing up front was outside of the building. And, I'm very consistent about say one, you shouldn't hit cops. There were some people who did these things, but a lot of what we see, the shoving, the pushing, came from the police actually gassing us and throwing out concussion blasts at us. This is what happened. So it pushed a lot of people into the cops, and therein we see, the riots occur. Right. But this happened also because the officer who fired the munitions at us had no idea how to use the gun in the first place. competence in DC. It's not a strong suit.
Do you think it was an accident shot and then all hell broke loose? Or
The video looks like it is an accident, and that video is now made public. So inside was a completely different story, right? I walked through open doors. Everyone's just walking inside. I've seen plenty of protests inside that building, before January 6th and also after January 6th. And the decorum of most people was just walking around. It's actually more quiet than some of the pro-Palestinian riots we've seen, the pro-transgender movement riots we've seen, right? And I will call them riots because we should be consistent.
Right. So you were inside the building. Do you think that those ropes were pre-set up? Because I know that there's conspiracy theories going on around Twitter. I don't know what you're allowed to say or not say. Do you think it was one of those things where it was like, we're going to get people in the building, we're going to keep them in the ropes, and it was this big, like, what's your thoughts on that whole
I've been back to the Capitol 2 or 3 times now, and those ropes always exist.
Okay.
So the tours stay on the perimeter, right, of the rotunda, and those ropes are to help people guide to cut through the center of it. So if you're on a special tour, it helps you go from the rotunda into Statutory Hall, into the chambers, into the offices.
Perfect.
So those things are consistently there.
That's perfect. So walk me through the whole Lectern debacle. So you get there, you're inside, it's chill, you're vibing.
Yes.
You see Nancy Pelosi's lectern.
It's there.
And you're like, I'm gonna grab a picture. Walk with your thought. Fun.
It's just, having a good time, because it's been a long time since the people have actually protested in the place they should be protesting.
Yes.
It's the source of most of our problems, DC.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a Target, it's not a Walgreens, it's not a Nike store. Your issues come from DC and those people there.
Right.
So when I'm inside the building, it is a very jovial experience because this is what America was founded on. Principally, we are people who protest when our government becomes tyrannical.
Right.
So this lectern is sitting out in the open. It's not in someone's office. I didn't kick down a door. I didn't burn the building to the ground.
Just sitting there, chilling.
Just sitting out in the open. And we live in a social media world. And I thought to myself, that is a fantastic photo prop. And I nailed it. I did call it. So picked it up, walked it about 20 feet to the center of the rotunda, saw some photographers, smiled, waved. That's the photo.
Yeah.
Sat it down, gave a short speech, left it there.
And it's like you kind of knew, but you didn't know what your life would look like after that picture.
If you had told me that was what was going to happen, I would have called you a liar. There's no way.
What were the ramifications of all this? Did the government get involved afterwards? Did they get a hold of you? I mean, like, I know John Strand was in solitary confinement for 4 days, and they ripped Siaka away from his pregnant wife on the tarmac.
Yes.
So what was your aftermath of J6 immediate?
My image was made so viral so instantly. I was being recognized on the street on the walk back to my hotel in Georgetown. Like, it was that quick. So we hired attorneys almost immediately, and we actually contacted the AUSA. We said, the Assistant United States Attorney's Office. We said, look, I'm going to go home. I'm not taking my flight. I'm renting a car. I'm going to go home now. So I rented a car. They knew where I was moving. I told them I'll use my card so you can track me. I have nothing to hide. I'm just a guy in a picture.
Yeah.
Not a terrorist. Please stop. So they ended up charging me on Friday with 3 different counts. It was felony theft for moving the piece of furniture. It was, exactly. Well, I embarrassed them.
Yeah.
It was violent entry, which, again, there's a video of me walking through open doors, and it was entering and remaining in a restricted building. So $100,000 in attorney fees out of our pocket later. No. We got the felony dropped and the violent entry charge dropped and got the trespassing charge. They stuck that one on me.
And did you have any jail time?
71 days in federal prison, 18 of those in solitary confinement. $5,000 fine, 200 hours of community service, and I could not leave the Middle District of Florida for an entire year, even after I've already been on pretrial release for almost a year and a half. I had to beg the judge to go spend Christmas with my family and my children in the same state, because it was not in the Middle District of Florida. Nutty stuff.
So when I was talking to John, he said he wasn't even given his Miranda rights or anything like that. When they came and arrested you, did they do things? Did they give you a phone call? Did they do anything like that for you?
My attorneys handled all of the communication because anything you say can.
Because you knew it was coming.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We hired attorneys before the charges even came.
Man.
So any type of communication went through my attorneys first. And I credit that with the reason I didn't get 4 years, 10 years, 15 years.
How many people that you know of are still in, do we know, I know there's more people that haven't even.
These numbers are, I'm a face, I go speak. These numbers are better kept by people like Danny Goodwin from Stop Hates. They're better kept by Mike. I know there are at least 100.
So what's next? I mean, obviously, I've connected with you. You did, oh, by the way, Babylon Bee. If you guys haven't yet, watch January 6th, the world's most deadliest day. He stars in it as an awesome, very hilarious segment where they do a focus group.
Yep.
And they're like, how terrifying is this? And you move a lectern.
Yes.
Hilarious.
I recreate my crime.
Did you have any connection to the Bee before this?
Yes. They had put out a book calling me a dangerous thief. And I'd called them out. I'm like, hey, can you please stop calling me a thief? There's 1,000 jokes you can make, but
Yeah.
I'm really trying to let people know I didn't do that.
Yes.
So if it's
Yeah.
that. So Joel Berry and I got into communication, and Joel's like, look, how can we make it right? The book's in print. Joel's like, look, don't tell anyone we're putting this movie together. Do you want to have a part in it? And we can kind of make it a joke, and maybe that'll kind of make it even.
Yeah.
So they treated me really well. They took care of me. It was a really good time.
Yeah, the Bee guys are great. I just had Jarrett Lemaster on earlier.
Jared is one of the best human beings I've met.
Yes, we were supposed to be talking about Homestead, and the whole time we were just making jokes, talking about Peanut the Squirrel, and crying, laughing because we could not stop laughing. There's a 10-minute segment that I don't know if we're gonna be allowed to keep in because of the things that we were saying. He's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be representing Angel Studios. I don't know.
Yes,
if we can.
That sounds just like him.
We had an absolute blast. So the last question I want to ask you: what's next to get this right? What needs to happen? Is it a single person that needs to be fired and charged? Is it a group of people? Is it like what is the next case for justice for people like you and people that are still in prison and people that were persecuted by the government? What's the next step? What needs to happen?
There is a lot of talk about retribution right now. That is kind of the mantra of MAGA and this next administration, and I think we're missing reformation and restoration on top of that. It's good to go after people who did these things. That's fantastic. It does not give back. It does not restore people to what they've lost through this. People have lost their homes, their wives, their freedom. I mean, I hadn't seen my kids for like 3 months, and there are people in prison who haven't seen their kids for years over this. How do you make them whole? How do you give that back to them? And I think it's a conversation we haven't even begun to have yet. So if you're asking me how to make it right, I think we got to start talking about that. How do we make these people whole?
I think what infuriates me the most is actually not even the government, not even what they did. It's the people of America that are so unwilling to listen to the actual people that were there.
Yes.
I have been called, I am not involved at all. I'm a podcast host that happens to have conservative friends. And when I had the Babylon Bee hop on and I did a review of the movie and all this stuff, like the amount of DMs of people that are just nasty. And I'm like, I'm sorry, have you talked to a J6er? Because I've talked to 4.
Yep.
And you've listened to CNN.
Yeah. The dissonance.
And I'm not trying to be nasty, but I'm like, I'm doing journalism. I don't know what you're doing. And I really wish, man, you're a lovely soul. Your Twitter's a great follow, or X is hilarious. You're a family guy, great dad, writing a book, you cook. I mean, it's a great dude.
Started a charity. I'm trying to feed people who have kids.
Yeah.
So, parents go to prison, kids, nothing wrong. We should be indifferent on that, whether you're left, right, center. Shouldn't make a difference. We should take care of kids.
Siaka is one of the kindest souls, Christian man you will ever meet. And he's painted to be a criminal. And there are people in this country that say you're a crazy conspiracy theorist that believe this stuff. And I appreciate you being willing to talk about this because this needs to be heard. I already know Instagram's not going to let us post this. They're gonna be like, oh, this is hate speech or this is misinformation. And I'm like, well, this guy was there.
Yep. They deleted my accounts.
Right.
So,
and so that's why I'm going to really quick shout out. I don't have a relationship with them, but Parler TV, actually that's Ryan right there. It's made me think of it. Parler's coming back.
Beautiful.
They are. I'm so grateful for Elon on X, but X isn't enough.
Sure.
You still have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, so Parler's coming back. It's another free speech platform. I'd encourage everyone to go on there as well. Support them in their fight for free speech. I just want to make a quick shout out because I saw Ryan right there.
For sure, yeah.
Parler was the original free speech platform.
Yes.
And they're coming back. So, for those that don't know, they were taken off of Amazon Web Services because they were blamed for J6.
Yes.
They just won a court case proving they weren't.
Yep. Well, the claims were they were the apparatus that allowed Oath Keepers and Proud Boys to communicate and organize this event.
Right.
Yes.
And proven false, even though after they lost everything, they're back. don't know if you know this about Parler. They're actually built on the blockchain. So there's a coin called Optio that everything's built on. Completely it's the only decentralized. There's one, but like that's doing it right. Social media, so they can't be canceled. And so anyway, I thought you'd appreciate that. I don't know. And so I don't know, man. I know you're exhausted. I could keep talking to you, but thank you for sharing your story. You're awesome. Obviously, Joel was the one that's like, bro, you got to talk to the Lectern Guy. And Joel Bear, shout out you, man. You're a kind soul as well. And I'd encourage everyone to follow Adam on Twitter. It's, I think, at the Lectern Guy still.
No, it's Lectern Leader.
Lectern Leader. Okay.
Yeah.
At Lectern Leader, because we need to live in a world where we actually pursue facts and find people that are actually doing this, not what you're on mainstream. So if you want to know what happened on J6, ask them. And just because I think that we need more of that in this country, not less of it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, ask me questions. It's a very open, my page is ask anything you want.
So I appreciate you coming on, brother. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Guys, stay tuned to this whole story. There are still people like that are still in prison.
Yes.
And I think it's time that we need to, as conservatives, stop being such wusses.
Yes.
And stand up and be a little more bold.
I
So
agree.
people like you, Siaka, and John are doing that. I appreciate you guys a lot, man.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching the show. Please go support Adam. And we'll see you. Maybe we'll do another one time.
We'll see you, man.
Yeah. I appreciate you. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you a lot.
Yeah.